Yo, what is up, YouTube? It's RBP Gang, RBP Nation, RBP Boxing, RBP MMA. Today I'm going to be giving y'all my instant reaction to SHAKUR Stevenson going up against, I believe his name is Harutyunyan. I think they put up the German flag, but people have been saying he's Armenian. You know, Olympic gold medalist, Olympic bronze medalist. So he has that pedigree, going into the fight. Honestly, I didn't really feel the need to. I should have made a prediction video for the fight. Honestly, that's just me being lazy. But we here with the post-fight breakdowns for this fight and the Diaz Masvidal. Low key, I mean, there's some other good fights going on, but I feel like when it's the top talent, I always take time to go out and seek out their fights. Even if people are saying it's gonna be a boring fight, people are saying, "Oh, I'm gonna watch the soccer game, Brazil. I'm gonna watch the Masvidal card." Masvidal card ain't even bad. Some good fights on there. Gonna talk about that later. It's I'm trying to think. I don't know if there's any other really big cards coming up, but yeah, that was really all they was really competing with. It was a good time for SHAKUR to. He's really the big fight this weekend. Diaz and Masvidal as well. But for a boxing fan, pure boxing fan who's not really into the Diaz Masvidal, the show that they got going on, this is your fight. This is your and I guess it's a Payda and Cabrera. I'm gonna see if I can catch highlights of that. So I'm locked in on Diaz Masvidal, but let's just get straight into it. Enough like bullshit, I guess. Let's just get straight into it. Address the elephant in the room. SHAKUR Stevenson, what is going on? I feel like SHAKUR Stevenson, honestly, objectively, decent performance. Nothing too special. I felt like for me, I scored an 8-4. I can pull up my exact scorecard. I scored the fight, 160-112. One of the judges actually shared my same scorecard. I scored rounds 3 through 9 to SHAKUR, and then through the latter half of the fight, I felt like Artem came on strong, and I thought he got 10, 11, and then 12. So I thought SHAKUR kind of almost slowed down. And when his coach was saying let his hands go, I feel like that's he wasn't honestly listening to his coach. He should have let his hands go way more. This is not a dangerous opponent. This is a guy who's a boxer. This is a guy who you really should be looking really good against. I understand the Edwin De Los Santos performance because that's a puncher. And I don't know. I'll talk about that a little later, but how he looked against the puncher and how that might translate to Tank Davis fight. But against a boxer, see, he goes up against like a Lomachenko, a Devin Haney in the future. Like, these are the fights where you're supposed to be like, you don't have to worry about the power. So you just going out there and you just fighting your fight. So I will say some things to note. He did have Artem running, good body shots, good hooks. I thought he, fought decently in the clinch, stuff like that, but just not a lot of sustained punishment. I feel like he had Artem hurt. And credit to Artem, Like, we see fighters like him as well with the Jaron Ennis, Karen Chikadze fight. Ennis, learned from that performance. Karen Chikadze was essentially just running the whole fight. This wasn't the case, though. Artem was there to be hit. He was in the pocket fighting back with SHAKUR. I don't know. Like, if we're going to compare, and it's so funny that SHAKUR, like, the fact that SHAKUR had the audacity to sit up there and be like, well, he didn't want to fight, he didn't want to engage, but what were you doing your last fight against Edwin De Los Santos? It's so funny. Like, now the shoe's on the other foot, now he wants to get all mad and stuff. So it's just funny. I don't know. It's just funny that he had the fact that he didn't even have the wherewithal. And then the people on top rank, they're not even acknowledging that, There's clearly some agenda going on, but of course that's their guy, which I don't understand because they have no loyalty to him. He's gonna be a free agent. But anyways, that's besides the point. I thought Artem fought pretty decently. He fought a good fight, but ultimately he was outclassed. SHAKUR, better fighter. But when you're that much better than someone, at least a knockdown. A knockdown, something like that. The fans were leaving early. They didn't really appreciate the performance that SHAKUR had going on. And that's just not gonna. When people talk about SHAKUR being a pay-per-view attraction, SHAKUR fighting Tank, this is not the performance that you needed. You needed a big statement to be made after the last one that he had, and this just didn't cut it. So you can't deny the talent that's there with SHAKUR. He's a good fighter, good defensive fighter, best plus minus in the game. But for SHAKUR, it's just about that extra oomph. Say he goes up against a power puncher, like I was saying. Ultimately, I feel like this fight didn't really tell us much because he's going up against a boxer. As far as like knowing how he's going to perform against a power puncher, we saw it with De Los Santos running a lot. Scorecards are close. The judges didn't really know who to give the rounds to because De Los Santos is the aggressor, obviously. But not much shots are being landed. And SHAKUR, obviously, he's doing his sweet science stuff, but not much shots are being landed. With, judges maybe not, you can't really say corrupt, but with judges not really knowing how to judge fights really. You might just get a fight where it's like the fight goes to someone else, the person who's coming forward. We saw that with the Oshaki Foster fight at Robson Kasesao. So with Shakur, he's got to do better about pushing the pace. He's got to do better about putting punches together. He's got to do better about doing these things, and that's why when people compare Shakur to like Haney, stuff like Haney. Okay, I'm one of Haney's biggest fans. Come on, we can't. Haney's way better than Shakur. Like, if we're being honest, I know he had that Ryan fight, but we know everything that happened with that fight. The steroids and all that type of stuff. You can't really judge him too much off that. What Haney does in that ring, he's landing knockdowns over Regis Prograis. He's being aggressive. He's going for that finish. We just didn't see that with Shakur. This is I don't want to say like, yeah, he's a C-level fighter. I think Artem's not. He's worse than Frank. Frank beat him. It was a very close fight, but that's the same level opponent. Look at how Tank performed against Frank. Look at how Shakur performed against Artem. The styles are pretty much tailor-made. I think Shakur should look good against a boxer because he's just going to be better with him. Maybe you see him maybe struggling against a guy who's a puncher. He has to worry about that. We saw it in the De Los Santos fight and other fights previous. So it'll be a learning experience. We saw Shakur a little animated. He go with his coach. The coach wanted him to throw a little bit more. He wasn't really doing that in the fight. It just didn't make sense. Like, you got a guy who doesn't have that much pop to his punches. Why are you not throwing more, man? You don't got to worry about anything coming back to you. So, yeah. Ultimately, going into the fight, I expected something similar to this, but I honestly, just unbiased, I thought it would go to a decision. Just 'cause I think Artem's a tough fighter. Artem, he's Armenian or German. Those guys are, tough fighters. So I thought he'd give Shakur a couple problems. And honestly, the first 2 rounds, he looked pretty decent. Shakur had a slow start, but through the rest of it, it was mostly Shakur. But, Artem came out strong late. But, yeah, not the performance that you need to really push for a fight. Like, look at what Loma. That's the thing, too. Like, if you're going to be doing this, having the decision fights, it has to be dominant. You got to be winning, like, almost every single round. And I didn't see that. He have a judge scoring at 116, 112. That's my same scorecard, Going into the fight, I was thinking it was going to go to a decision, but I'm thinking domination. Maybe even a body shot knockdown. Winning almost every single round. That's what you have to do. You got to make a statement, So if you're not getting that knockout, so that's not what we really saw. And this is not like the best opponent ever that they could have got out for him to fight. So it's only gonna get harder. Say he fights a guy like Raymond Muratalla. Raymond Muratalla is better than this. So we just gonna have to see. Shakur saying, "Hey, bring me an opponent that's actually gonna fight," and you didn't see the best of me. But Artem was fighting you for a good portion of that fight, and we didn't really see that. So I don't know, man. We got to see with Shakur how he's gonna bounce back from this. It's always, it's messed up, bro. Like, I don't know. It sucks because like he had a really good performance, but you go up against an opponent you're minus 2,500 against. Like, the fans are expecting something more. They want a good performance. They want something huge, something to remember. People are paying tickets to go to the fights. They want something that they could talk about, next week. Like, oh, I went to the Shakur fight and this happened and that happened. They can't, like, you're going to go back home tomorrow, sleep, and forget about the whole fight. That's not what you get with other fighters. So it is what it is. At the end of the day, Shakur, that's how he fights. That's what it is. For him, it's just win-win-win. Stay in the gym and, get the job done. But, yeah, for people saying, oh, like, Tank's ducking, like, Tank Shakur, I don't know. That's not Loma. Tank Loma fight's a bigger fight. It'll be more action-packed. But I would like to see Shakur, how he could fare against Tank, but nah, let's pump the brakes on Shakur. I think we need to see Shakur. I'd love to see Shakur, and I know it's unrealistic, but a Shakur Cepeda fight would be interesting. I want to see Shakur and Frank Martin. I want to see Shakur versus Raymond Muratalla. Some of those higher ranked guys, because Artem's clearly not that, So, it is what it is. He's held to a higher standard because he's, people think he's that pound for pound guy, future pound for pound king. So, the expectations are going to be there, So he's has to rise up to the occasion and do something special. He didn't do that in his hometown. Not to mention, people are booing him in his own town. That's like unheard of. Could you imagine if Tank went to his hometown and got booed? That's like, and Tank's like, I don't even think Tank got booed when he fought Cruz. You know, even that was an action-packed fight. So, yeah, I don't know, man. It is what it is. Yeah, I don't know. It really, I'm passionate about this because I did a whole watch party for the De Los Santos fight. I thought it was going to be a really good fight. I thought Shakur was going to show out and do something special. And I sat there for fights 90 minutes, just disappointed, you know? And then he does this again. So I don't know, man. I never want to skip out on fights because you never know when Shakur's going to have that Tiafimo, Josh Taylor type performance, you know? Where he's going to come out there and really look special. He's had that in the past, too, with, Valdez. Cesar wasn't bad. Some different fights in there. But, yeah, man, he's got to improve. He's got to do better. And we're here to see it, man. So that's all I really got for y'all today. Shakur, you got to do better, you know what I'm saying? That's at the end of the day. If you're going to be, calling out Tank, you're going to be – he said he's going to come out here and make a statement. You're going against a decent matchup for you. You got to come out and make a statement. That's all I really got for y'all. So leave a like, subscribe. Peace out. You know what it is. Boo!